Well. Hello and welcome to my LinkedIn Live. This LinkedIn Live, we are talking about how to build a business around your day job. And this is a three-part series which is taking place today, Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, and on Thursday. Every lunchtime for just half an hour, I'm going to be on here sharing with you some principles around this whole topic of building a business around your day job, because it is absolutely possible to have a day job and build a side venture and be great at both. And that's what we're going to talk about over the next few days. Now, hello, if you are tuning in, I'm going live right now on LinkedIn. It will be rebroadcast on all the other platforms after. But if you are tuning in live, I'd love to know who you are. I'd love for you to say hello in the comments and let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. It has been a while since I last went live. And by the way, if you don't know, my name is Mildred Talabi. I am a business coach for career women. And this is still brand new, hot off the press, because the last time I went live, probably about a year ago, right? I was under a different banner, a different brand. And back then, what I was doing up until actually May this year was specializing in helping women to build powerful personal brands on LinkedIn. So doing a lot of LinkedIn coaching, LinkedIn training, and everything around being visible on LinkedIn with the mantra start being visible. Now, the visibility side is still very much applicable. I still believe that it is vital and crucial for you to be visible, whether in your career or in your business, in order for you to unlock opportunities that are there ready and available for you. So that is still something that is very much a must for you. But I have somewhat pivoted away from teaching about just LinkedIn in terms of the LinkedIn tactics, etc., to something that I believe has actually been there from the very beginning, something that I love, something that I've always loved from the beginning. That is the topic of entrepreneurship, specifically building a business, as we're going to talk about over the next 3 days, building a business around your day job. And the reason I love this topic so much is because this is what my life has been about. And it is so congruent with who I am and what I do that I wanted to share with you. If you're watching this and you are a woman and you're thinking, I have a job, I'm happy in my job to some degree, you could be really happy, you could be okay in your job, but I'm considering maybe doing something else alongside my job. I don't want to quit my job. I'm not trying to build the next Facebook or Amazon or whatever it is, massive big company. I just want to maybe consider having something on the side. So if that's you, you have come along to the right session, because that's what I'm going to help you do. And you've come around to the right person, because that's what my new direction is all about, helping you to identify the skills and expertise that you have that could make a great side venture, and then helping you to launch it while still being an excellent employee, because you can do both, and I've done both. Now, a little bit of my background in relation to this is I actually started. Do you know what I just realized? That I don't know if you could hear all of that beginning bit, because I thought I had my microphone clicked onto me, and I didn't. It was actually on the table. So I don't know if you heard any of that beginning bit. So I'm going to take this afresh as if we're starting right here. You can tell I'm a little bit rusty on this live, right? So we are starting right here. And if you are jumping on to this live, we are talking about how to build a business around your day job. And this is a 3-part series. We're going to be doing today, Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, and on Thursday, which will help you do that. So if you're a woman listening right now, you love your job to whatever degree, whether you love it a lot, whether you love it a little, but you've been thinking about starting something on the side for yourself, this is the show for you. This is the live session for you. And I'm the person, or at least I want to be the person to help you make it happen, because I'm here to inspire you into that way of thinking, and also to help you identify what side venture you can potentially launch, and how to get it out there to the point where you're landing your first client or customer. So I want to walk you through the whole thing. So a little bit about my background, especially in relation to this entrepreneurship. So I started business at the age of 11. That was my very first business. Now, this was a manuscript typing business, which I started with my brothers and sisters who were older than me. At the time, I was 11, they were a little bit older. So our dad was and is a writer. He's written so many books. And back then, he would, first of all, he would handwrite his books. You know, literally had these, we got this thick manuscript somewhere of handwritten novels and non-fiction stuff that he's created, mainly novels he wrote. And then after that, when the typewriter came along, he upgraded to typing the books on the typewriter. So we've got others which are typewritten, thick manuscripts, also somewhere at home. And then the computer comes along. Yes, that is how old I am. I do remember typewriters, and I was there at the beginning of computers. So we get a computer in the house, and my dad's like, cool. I have 5 children. My little brother didn't get involved. He was very young at the time, but I have 5 children, which means free labor, right? So I am going to get them to type my manuscripts. So from the typewritten version, we're going to now upload it to the computer so he could save it on floppy disk, CD-ROMs. If you're young, if you're born in in the 2000s, you will have no idea what floppy disks and CD-ROMs, etc. are. But these were the things we were using at the time to save our work. So my dad got us in the business of typing his books. And along the way, I don't know which one of my siblings got the idea, but we just kind of thought, oh my gosh, if this is valuable to my dad, now imagine other people can potentially want the same kind of service. There are other people who've been writing things by hand or maybe have typewritten it, and they might want to, they're not good with computers because they're still new at this time, and they might want to have their stuff, typed on a computer. How about we set up a business doing this? And that's exactly what we did. So my siblings and I, my brother is a great designer, graphic designer, created some flyers. We went to our local train station and we handed out the flyers at the train station. Lo and behold, I think it took about a week, of doing that, going daily after school, all of that kind of stuff. We got our first customer. It was a university professor who wanted her manuscripts typed. And then we had another one and another. It was all similar people like that, either a lot of academic types and then like authors and writers. So we had a little business that we were growing during that summer holiday where we were typing and we were getting paid. And it felt so good to create that extra income, but also to create an idea that other people bought into. It was wonderful. And that was my very first taste of business. And I loved that taste. I loved it. And it didn't leave me. At 19, I used £2,000 of my student loan to start a magazine. So at the time, I was in my second year of university, and I had newly become a Christian actually, and I was into different things. I wanted older magazines. I've always loved magazines. I love magazines. I went on to do journalism and work in magazines for a while, but I love magazines. I loved reading them, but I found that all the magazines that were available for teenage girls were about what I thought were superficial things I weren't very interested in: makeup, nails, hair, boys. I was like, I want something more. I want something deeper. I want something to feed my faith, to feed this newfound identity. And there was just nothing out there. So I created it, used my money to fund the first edition. We printed loads of copies. It was so well received, interviewed one of the big gospel artists of the time for the cover, distributed that issue. It was great. And then we ran out of money. I ran out of money, so I could not create another one because I gave it out for free. I didn't think to sell it. I sold advertising, and I say sold advertising, but in that I got an advertising deal, which I was so pleased with myself about, a local computer company. They gave us loads of computer mice that we could use as competition prizes in exchange for a 4-back-page cover advert on the magazine. And I was like, get in there, fantastic, I've done so well. And then I realized afterwards that, oh, I probably should have asked for money instead so we can do more than one edition. So that was an early business lesson. And then from there's been other things that I've done. Created a raw foods business with my husband. And there's behind me, actually, there's that was an award that I got for that business as a young businesswoman in my 20s, creating a raw food business. My husband and I, we used to teach people how to eat raw. We had workshops, we had classes, and we went had events. It was, before it became popular to just do fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds and all of that as a lifestyle. We were doing it, and it was quite good, and but it didn't last. But that's a story for another time. So I've had so many tastes of businesses, including a CV makeover, the LinkedIn thing, and now what I'm doing. But also along the way, I built my career. So I went into journalism. So after that magazine, though that magazine didn't work out, it opened the door for me to get into my dream career, which was to become a journalist. And I did. I worked in the media for a bit, got a scholarship from the company News International that produces the likes of the Times, Sunday Times, the Sun, etc. And I was able to get a full scholarship in journalism, got my qualifications, came out, worked in the media for a bit. All the while I'm doing this stuff, I also had some kind of side venture. So I was excellent in the workplace, and I was also doing great things in the entrepreneurial world. And that is the thing that I think is really important to emphasize. And that's why today the topic of today's session is, I have a career. Why do I also need a business? And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think it's important that you also have a business alongside your career. And have to, you don't have to, so there's a myth that some people might have, or maybe even some employers might have, that if you have something that you're doing outside of work, that somehow makes you a worse employee. I have actually found this the complete opposite. Absolutely the complete opposite. So there is so many good reasons, and I'm going to give you 4 good reasons why you should have why you should consider. You shouldn't, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you're considering it, I would say definitely go for it. 4 good reasons why you should have a business alongside your career. But before I do, and in case you're just tuning in, I want you to mark the date, Thursday, 30th of July. I am running a workshop where we're going to go into this in 90 minutes, much more details. We've only got about 20 minutes or so today, but we're going to go into that one, 90 minutes, much more details. I'm going to help you to turn your expertise into extra income. We're going to identify that area that you could potentially market, and then talk about how to bring it to market. So please go to mildredtalabi.com/expert to income in order to find out more about that workshop and sign up. The ticket price is very, very low, just so that to get you in the room and to get you committed to showing up. So that's really why I've set it so low. I don't do free events for that very reason. I do believe, I can't remember who said it first. I think I heard it from Myron Golden, one of my online mentors. When you pay attention. So that's why I've set it at the low cost. But go check it out, sign up to this workshop, and you're going to get like a real practical insight into turning your expertise into extra income without leaving your day job. So this is not for you if you want to go in and quit work and build a business. That's good, it's great, but I'm looking for people who want to keep their day job, but they also want something on the side. And for these 4 reasons that I'm going to share with you. So as I said, why should you? I have a career. Why do I also need a business? Well, 4 good reasons I'm going to give you why you should consider having a business alongside your career. So, number 1, job security is not guaranteed. So it's really important that you create your own buffer. Now, as we know, people have been made redundant in this season, and people are losing their jobs, and AI is taking over some jobs. In fact, I've been in a job market recently, and there are more people looking for jobs than there are roles. And that is the truth. And some people in jobs are losing their jobs. So the job security is not guaranteed. This is not like it was maybe in generations ago, where you have a job and you have a job for life. We all know it. So you know that your job security is not guaranteed. What happens if you lose your job today? How are you going to cope? Yes, you should have savings and investment, etc. But what if you had a business on the side that's going to buffer and give you that cushion until you can find the next thing? That happened to me in a real practical way. Just about 7 years ago, I was working in a job. I do a lot of contracting roles. And communications is my day job, and I love contracting because it gives me freedom, flexibility. I can come in, do an excellent job, get it done, and off I am to the next project. That suits me really well. So I had a contract. I started this new organization. I was maybe about 6 weeks or so into the job, and loving the job. They're loving me, great organization. And then I became ill. And I don't just mean ill, some small cold or flu, to keep you off work for a day or two. I had a brain tumor, ended up in hospital for a month and had to have surgery, all the rest of it. That's a story for another time, which I've told many places. But in that time where I became ill and I got the brain tumor, etc., the workplace tried their very, very, very best to be supportive, and they were really good, But it came to a point where they had to send me a notice to say, Mildred, we're so sorry, but we're gonna have to let you go, of this contract. And that's simply because they couldn't, I wasn't an employee, they couldn't keep me on sick pay or anything like that. And technically they can't pay me to lie in hospital, so at that time, so we're at this place, we got two young children, my husband and I, one income, I'm sick, trying to recover. I lost, the ability to move and all of that efficiently for a while. It took about a year to recover. In this time, I couldn't work for anywhere else. I couldn't work for anyone, So I couldn't even get benefits because all the years I was like, okay, I've been paying tax all my working life. So let's see if I'm entitled to anything while I'm sick. And I didn't qualify for anything. So it was really like, okay, what do we do financially? I mean, my husband has his job, but what do we do? One income is not enough for what we need. And guess what? I had my business to fall back on. But then I had my CV makeover business, so I couldn't work for anybody else, but I could work for myself in my own time, in my own pace, in my own schedule. So that business, which was a side venture for so long, then became the full-time thing that I did for a while we transitioned from this place of recovery. So having your own side venture it creates a buffer that really will help you if you ever have the need for it. Because we don't know. I never expected a brain tumor. We don't know you don't know if if you're going to wake up tomorrow and they tell you that you're not going to have your job next month. You don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to have some kind of illness or health condition that means you can't go to work. If you have a business on the side, you can create your own buffer, and those situations won't be as scary as it might seem in the beginning. So that's reason number one. Okay. So reason number two. So we're talking about the 4 reasons to have a business alongside your day job. Reason number two is to generate extra income to meet your lifestyle goals. So generate extra income to meet your lifestyle goals. Now, for most people, unless you're a really high earner, and if you are, the government will probably be taxing you a lot, so a lot of your high earners will be going to tax, but for most people, the day job can cover your day-to-day, etc., maybe a little bit extra. But if you really have some hefty financial goals in mind, like for example paying off your house or funding your children through university, without, that's if they're going, without them taking out loans that they're going to spend the rest of their life paying back, or maybe you want to, I don't know, treat your family to a once in a lifetime holiday, whatever those extra goals are, chances are you're going to need some additional income outside of your day job to make it happen. And this is why it's great to have a side venture, because it can fund these other things and help you meet your lifestyle goals and have a much deeper experience of life than you can potentially have with just an income from a job. So in my case, my business has helped us, my side business has helped us twice in terms of our house purchases. So being able to get off the renting ladder and to purchase our first house, that was we were able to raise a deposit through a lot of the savings that I had from my business and the income I generated from there. And then when we needed to move up to a bigger house because our kids are growing, again, my business stepped in with what we need for the deposit. So if you have that side venture, that business, you can generate extra income as and when you need it to help you meet your lifestyle goal. And that, I think, is super important. So if any of this is resonating with you, please do let me know in the comments. And please do, if you don't already follow me on LinkedIn, please reach out, hit that follow button, hit the connect. I'd love to connect and walk you through this. All right. So, thank you. Ina says great content. Thank you very much. And thank you for tuning in. Right. So number 3, in terms of the 4 reasons why you should have a business alongside your day job. The third reason is to create extra value in your work. Yes, extra value in your work. Business gives you so many great transferable skills that you can use in your work. Now, when I go into any job, I go in there, I know just how valuable I am because I'm not your average employee, right? I have so many additional skills that I've got from building various businesses over the years, marketing, social media, finance, budgeting, there's all kinds of stuff, public speaking, blogging, there's so many extra things you learn as a business person that for the most part you might not be able to learn and to use in your day job. So you now create extra value because you're walking into a workplace maybe in one job title, but you're actually doing so much more else, so you have the potential to do so much more. So I'll give you an example. I've had a job where I was working in a youth center for a number of years, and I was recruited in communications, which is my arena. But because at the time I was also running my CV makeover business on the side, I had all of these skills around helping people find jobs. So in that role, in that youth center, was able to then they were able to carve a new role for me. So while I held on to the communications and I managed and oversaw that, I also then developed a program specifically around youth employment, which was now an added value to the organization. Because essentially, I was doing 2 jobs as one person. I didn't mind, but because it was my idea and I really wanted to see how I could serve in that workplace with those additional skills. But I was able to use those skills that I had from my business to create something in that day job that really helped those young people and the organization and brought in extra funding, etc. That made me an asset. So when I was there initially on contract and they didn't want me to go, I ended up staying from a 1-year contract to a 7-year job. So it's like that makes you an asset. When you bring additional skills into your day job from your business, you become an asset to the organization because you are doing above and beyond the regular employee. I'm not saying you're working yourself ragged or anything like that, because another thing that happens is you're walking into a workplace not as an employee of, oh, I'm just here to clock in, clock out. You're walking in as an entrepreneur. You can see things and do things that other people cannot because of the business experiences that you have. So it really sets you apart from other people when you have these additional business skills to your belt. So creating extra value is a great reason to build a business around your day job. And then the final one, and just a reminder before I share the final one, if you want more of this, I am running a workshop on Thursday, the 30th of July. Details are there on the screen, mildredtalabi.com/expert to income. I'm going to help you identify your expertise and teach you how to turn it into additional income as a career person without leaving your day job. So go check it out and go join me for that workshop. So the last reason of the 4 reasons to have a business alongside your day job is finding additional purpose and fulfillment. Now, this might seem like a soft one, and it is in the sense that it's I don't know about you, but I certainly want to know that I am here on purpose and I'm fulfilling the purpose that I'm here for. I know the first part, that I'm here on purpose, that I'm constantly working towards every day fulfilling the purpose that God put me on this earth for. And you and I have a purpose. Now, sometimes for some of us, we don't get to fulfill the full breadth of that in the day job, especially if you're someone who's taken on a day job just to pay the bills, right? Chances are it's not giving you that fulfillment and that purpose that you're looking for. So having a business around your day job gives you that place of additional purpose and fulfillment. It allows you to create, not just to create value we talked about, but it allows you to feel and find fulfillment in a way that you cannot work. So for example, in my day job, I do communications and, involves newsletters, helping, executives, how to briefing with briefings of documents, how to speak properly, organizing town halls, all of that kind of stuff. Now, in my business, I get the additional purpose and fulfillment of like, helping women. So in my previous business where I was doing a visibility work, I was able to see women transform from shy, closed versions of themselves to women who were open and confidently proclaiming who they are and what they have to offer the world through being visible on LinkedIn. That gave me such fulfillment that I couldn't get in my day job. So I've been able to pull together people from different walks of life and connect them in some of the events that I've organized outside of work. That gave me purpose and fulfillment in a way that I don't always get in my day job. So having that business around your day job is a great way to find that additional purpose and fulfillment, which makes life all the more interesting and exciting. So if you're not already doing that, I would highly recommend that you do. So, and there we have it. So those are the 4 reasons. And that's the so if you're still here and you're like, as I said, today's topic is I have a career, why do I also need a business? I'm hoping that these 4 reasons have helped you to see that actually this is something good that's worth pursuing. And if it has, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know which one of the 4 reasons most resonated with you, and also what action you will take as a result of this. I'd love to see you at the workshop on Thursday, the 30th of July. But I'd also love to see you come back here and join me tomorrow lunchtime, where we're going to be talking about how to be excellent as an employee, even with a side venture. Because I know after hearing all of this, you might be worried, or someone, a manager, might be listening to this, an owner, and think, well, if my employee or if has a side venture, then would that mean that they'll be rubbish in their day job? And the answer is no. So where I'm going to be teaching you tomorrow how you can be excellent in your day job, because that's important. We don't want you slacking at work. We want you to be excellent. We want you to add value. We want you to be the asset. But we also want you to have that freedom to have your side venture that gives you those things of extra income, that buffer of financial security and life security, helps you tap into purpose and value in a deeper, meaningful way. So that's it for today. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock lunchtime, UK time. So please, if this has been valuable to you, please like, please share, please spread the word, and join me back here tomorrow because I'd love to have you here. For now, that's it for now, and take care and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.